Tonight, the search for peace brings the Ukrainian leader to Canada.
We have the possibility of a just and lasting peace, but that requires a willing Russia.
How Ottawa plans to support Ukraine's future as it struggles to put a war in the past. Plus, a family's outrage after a husband and father dies in an Alberta ER.
I am ready to look into their eyes and tell them that I am here to get justice.
The family shares their side of a tragic story. And keeping count of a changing bird population.
Dark-eyed junco, blue jays, black-capped chickadees.
The annual Christmas tradition of spotting feathered friends across the country.
He's here.
CTV National News with Heather Butts. Reporting tonight, Mirella Fernandez.
Good evening. The smoke is still rising in Kyiv after the latest Russian drone attack. A hard time to contemplate peace, but it is what Ukraine's president discussed with our prime minister today in Halifax. Mark Carney pledging another $2.5 billion towards that effort. And as CTV's Kamal Karamali tells us, there is hope that a crucial meeting tomorrow moves a peace plan forward.
Good to see you, Mark. Thank you. A familiar handshake and hug in the fourth meeting this year between Prime Minister Mark Carney and Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelenskyy, a reunion that came with a Canadian commitment of $2.5 billion worth of economic aid and a show of support in the war against Russia.
We have the conditions, the possibility of a just and lasting peace, but that requires a willing Russia.
Just hours earlier, Russia bombarded Ukraine's capital Kiev with hundreds of drones and dozens of missiles, killing at least 2 people and leaving scores injured. About a third of the city left without power.
This attack is, again, Russia's answer on our peace efforts, and it's really shows that Putin doesn't want peace.
Zelenskyy releasing a revised 20-point peace plan this week with some concessions to Russia. A plan he says is 90% ready ahead of his meeting with U.S. President Donald Trump in Florida Sunday.
Trump's not going to be an easy sell. Trump has already said that, he's going to look at what Zelenskyy gives him, but if he doesn't like it, he's not signing off on it.
Zelenskyy is also likely to be looking for increased military support and more air defense systems. But the biggest sticking point in Zelenskyy's peace plan, giving up territory in eastern Ukraine.
The ugly truth is every day Russia's taking away territory. They've got the advantage right now on the ground, and if they keep doing those attacks, it's going to drain the Ukrainian air defense capabilities.
Leading to some doubt whether Russia will meet Ukraine at the table, especially after this latest attack.
The barbarism that we saw overnight, the attack on Kyiv, shows just how important it is that we stand with Ukraine.
With Russian President Vladimir Putin saying today that Ukraine is not in a hurry to end the war and threatening more force to make that happen. Marilla.
Kamal Karamali reporting there. Another peace plan will be on the table when Trump meets with the Israeli Prime Minister on Monday. It will be Benjamin Netanyahu's 5th visit to the U.S. this year. The White House and mediators want to move to the second stage of the Gaza ceasefire agreement between Israel and Hamas. An Edmonton family racked with grief and demanding answers after a husband and father passed away this week while waiting for help in the ER.
I get a call from Prashant, and he's like, "Oh, I'm like, Niharika, I'm having so much pain in my chest."
That's how the ordeal began for 44-year-old Prashant Trikumar. It would end with his death in the emergency room of the Grey Nuns Community Hospital of an apparent cardiac arrest. He had been waiting for almost 8 hours for help, his widow blaming the delay in medical assistance for his death.
I am ready to look into their eyes and tell them that I am here to get justice for Prashant.
Alberta's Minister of Hospital Services has posted a statement to social media sharing condolences for the family and friends of Shri Kumar. It also states, quote, I have directed Acute Care Alberta to jointly review the circumstances and potential contributing factors of this incident alongside Covenant Health. For Shri Kumar's family, that review is just part of the accountability they're seeking.
I would like to sit across the tables and talk to them. This is something that I need answers for, and I am not going to stop.
Covenant Health, the organization that runs the hospital, told CTV News the case is now with the Office of the Chief Medical Examiner, saying the patient was receiving care, but they wouldn't provide details because of privacy concerns. Turning now to some other news, Alberta dealing with extreme weather warnings tonight. As CTV's Tyler Barrow shows us in Calgary, people are trying to make sure the city's most vulnerable are protected from the bitter cold.
Cold weather has blanketed the city as temperatures surpass -30 with wind chill, according to Environment and Climate Change Canada. For some, staying inside is not an option. Eleanor Chu is braving the cold to walk her dog Ruby.
She's the princess of the house. She's got to come out and walk, get some fresh air.
For the city's most vulnerable, the cold weather hits a little harder.
A lot of frostbite. A lot of people that are a lot more in urgent need than normal.
The Mustard Seed has one shelter in the city's southeast with just under 300 beds and a women's shelter with about 50 beds. It is operating at capacity.
When people are facing that kind of urgency, just having open doors is critical, right? Like you got to be available.
The shelter works with the Calgary Homeless Foundation to coordinate a warm handoff with other facilities, ensuring everyone has a bed when the wind chill drops into the -30s. The drop-in center is one of those possible facilities, and it too is seeing an influx of individuals needing a place to stay. It has a capacity for just over 1,000 people.
We see about 150 to 160 people on top of our normal numbers during these cold snaps. That usually pushes us to pretty close to the limit of our occupancy.
Both the drop-in center and the Mustard Seed are encouraging people to drop off mitts, toques, jackets, and winter boots to help keep Calgary's most vulnerable warm through the winter. Tyler Barrow, CTV News, Calgary.
Suddenly, I heard this strange sound, and the next thing I knew, all the glass from our sliding patio door exploded into the house.
City crews in London, Ontario spent the day clearing away trees toppled by the icy winter storm that blanketed southwestern Ontario on Friday. It also knocked out power to about 20,000 customers. In Japan, a snowstorm caused a massive 67-vehicle pileup. 2 people were killed, more than 25 injured. A tangled mess of metal and burnt-out vehicles littered the highway about 160 kilometers northwest of Tokyo. It started with 2 trucks colliding and cars behind them unable to brake in time. It took crews 7 hours to completely extinguish the flames burning along the highway. A powerful earthquake has rocked the island of Taiwan for the second time this week. The 6.6 magnitude quake struck off Taiwan's northeastern coast at night, frightening diners and shaking buildings in the capital of Taipei. There were no reports of injuries or serious damage. A 6.0 magnitude quake struck southeastern Taiwan on Wednesday. Thailand and Cambodia have signed a ceasefire agreement ending weeks of attacks along their shared border. That agreement calls for no more military movements by either side and no violations of airspace for military purposes. Thailand is also being called on to repatriate 18 Cambodian soldiers held prisoner since July. A thick plume of volcanic ash from Italy's Mount Etna has triggered an aviation hazard warning. Europe's most active volcano was spewing jets of lava and huge clouds of ash more than 6 kilometers into the air. Officials in Sicily say the eruption poses no danger to the surrounding area. At this time of year, it's hard to watch what you eat. Young girls are under twice the pressure to stay skinny in an era when image seems to matter more than anything else. A Montreal woman knows the struggle, lived it for years, and now shares lessons on how to let it go. CTV's Anastasia Dextrine reports.
Over to the other side. She's helping others to find their breath, find appreciation for their body, and find a sense of peace.
She's super inclusive. She has a way of making people come together.
She fosters that environment for all of us to share in our development.
Melanie Richards has been teaching yoga for more than 15 years, and she shared her practice with all walks of life, young and old, men and women, and some who've battled with mental health. After struggling to find comfort in her own body, Richards says her work is close to heart.
When I was little, I really wanted to be an actress. I did get an agent. He was kind enough to take me on, even though he said to me, I will not be able to send you for lead roles because you have an athletic build.
Back then, Richards was told that the anorexic look was in. She turned to yoga as a way to get lean and lose weight.
In deepening my practice, I came and really connected with myself and connected with my body and found a sense of self-worth and confidence that was independent from my looks.
She quit acting to build the Happy Tree Yoga Studio and community. She focused on body positivity and advocating for mental health. According to data on body image from the government of Quebec, children notice body size by the age of 3. By age 4, many girls say they wish they were thinner, and 1/3 of 9-year-old girls have already attempted to lose weight.
Your body is not the problem. The beauty standards are the problem.
Stéphanie Léonard is a Montreal psychologist, and she says body standards are evolving for the worse.
In the 90s, we used to just flip through a magazine and see this model and just say, oh my God, I don't look like that. Now we're comparing ourselves to images which have been modified, but more recently we've had medication like GLP-1.
After losing her sister to an eating disorder, Richards warns that skinny culture can be disguised as health.
She was a personal trainer, and so she was able to kind of hide behind diet culture. In yoga and fitness and wellness industries, it's especially insidious. So it's saying that automatically you're healthy if you're thin and you're unhealthy if you're not thin. And that's actually not true.
Today, Richards has proudly taken to social media to say no to skinny culture.
Are you choosing to chase skinny, or are you choosing your soul?
That's a message she hopes to leave with students, with young Quebecers, and with generations to come. Anastasia Dextrine, CTV News.
Coming up, celebrating heroes of the Second World War.
You realize you did something. And I'm proud I did it.
A look back at how Canadian veterans were honored half a world away. Canadian veterans who helped liberate the Netherlands at the end of the Second World War received one last hero's welcome this year. More than 24 made the trip overseas to take part in the 80th anniversary of their hard-fought victory. The oldest among them, now 105. CTV's BC Bureau Chief Andrew Johnson has a look back at one of our favorite stories of 2025.
Imagine living to the age of 100, still able to travel overseas and be the guest of honor in a parade where thousands of people want to share their gratitude.
Thank you, sir.
Now imagine being 18 years old, handed a rifle, and sent into battle.
You don't make any mistakes, or it's the last one you'll make. You're scared every day because you never knew.
They have lived truly remarkable lives and beat the odds to be here in the year 2025 after what they were asked to do in 1945.
I've been lucky.
The push to free the Netherlands from 5 years of Nazi occupation was some of the toughest fighting of the Second World War.
You just keep on going. You know, you just keep going, and some guys are dropping, and you keep on going, and you hope for the best.
Howard McNamara enlisted with his brother. He's honored to be back here at 105. His brother never came home.
We were both fighter pilots, and he didn't make it. past his 21st birthday.
Wow. And here you are at 105.
Yeah. I was lucky.
Close to 8,000 Canadians died liberating Holland, and what they helped accomplish in this country 80 years ago will never be forgotten. The way these survivors were treated by the Dutch today is the proof.
I'm really thankful that and I'm so special that they are here again.
A lot of respect because the things they did for us.
Especially at the moment, when the world is a little bit on fire. I think it's very special to remember.
They remember, and they're grateful.
Thank you.
This is likely the last time these men will be here in person. They can leave this week with their heads held high.
You realize you did something. And I'm proud I did it.
Andrew Johnson, CTV News, Vancouver.
Still ahead. The impact of the wildfires in 2025 and what Ottawa is doing to tackle future ones. Canada went through its second worst wildfire season on record in 2025, one that forced tens of thousands of Canadians out of their homes. Manitoba, especially hard hit, and had to declare a state of emergency twice. CTV's Alex Carpa looks back at the battle to save communities from going up in flames.
It started early and it started quickly. A warm and dry spring set the stage for intense fire conditions. By midsummer, fires were burning throughout most of the country. More than 6,000 wildfires raged across Canada, burning well over 8 million hectares of land, making 2025 the second worst wildfire season in Canadian history. Communities in BC, Alberta, Saskatchewan, Ontario, and Newfoundland saw evacuation alerts and orders throughout the summer.
This is the largest evacuation Manitoba will have seen in most people's living memory.
Including Manitoba, which declared states of emergency on 2 separate occasions. The province saw arguably one of its worst wildfire seasons ever, with 433 total fires, burning over 2.1 million hectares of land. Fires raged throughout the province's northern and eastern regions, impacting dozens of First Nations and rural communities. Some of the biggest wildfires were near Flin Flon in northwestern Manitoba. This doorbell footage caught the moment flames hit Cindy Pedwell's place in Denair Beach, Saskatchewan near Flin Flon, a moment she'll never forget.
It was really quite devastating and heartbreaking.
Whiteshell Provincial Park to the east was also hit hard, including in Lac du Bonnet, where 2 people, Sue and Richard Noel, died after being trapped by fire.
This is the tree we affectionately called the Tree of Life because of how beautiful it was.
The fires also destroyed several structures, including Leanne Ross Martin's longtime family cabin, which was completely turned to rubble.
I don't think you ever expect to see something like this, and it has shook us to the core. For certain. We are devastated as a community, as property owners.
More than 85,000 Canadians were forced to evacuate their communities due to raging wildfires. Well over 30,000 of them were from Manitoba. Most evacuees flooded south to places like Winnipeg and Brandon. But with a lack of hotel rooms in the province, hundreds of evacuees were sent to other provinces, including Sundance Hart and her family, who spent weeks in Niagara Falls.
It was stressful. Kids were crying. I got sent to the hospital because of the stress that I was having. I was having panic attacks and whatnot.
Majority of the evacuees, including Hart, have returned home, but others have not been so lucky. A caved roof and water damage is all that was left of Rose Biggety's home. After being away from her home in Leaf Rapids in northern Manitoba for 2 months, Rose was excited to finally get back, but when she returned home in September, she found her house completely destroyed.
I don't even know if I'm coming back to stay in Leaf Rapids because there's no homes. I have no place to stay here.
Firefighters from across Canada, the U.S., and other parts of the world were deployed to help in the fight. Earlier this month, the federal government announced more than $250 million in funding to expand Canada's aerial firefighting fleet, including water bombers and surveillance aircraft.
As the past few years have shown, natural disasters are becoming more and more frequent. And this is a reality that we all need to confront together, whatever our level of government.
But as the planet continues to warm, some climate scientists warn that heightened and more severe wildfires could be the new normal, as seasons are not just starting earlier, but are lasting longer, producing fires that burn hotter and spread faster. Alex Carpa, CTV News, Winnipeg.
Still ahead. Citizen scientists on the hunt for frequent flyers in PEI. You think of anchovies on top of pizza, but not swarming the shores of one of the most famous beaches in the world. Swimmers at Rio's Copacabana Beach found themselves surrounded by millions of the little silverfish. Biologists say they were attracted by an unusual current of nutrient-rich water that created fertile feeding ground along the Brazilian coast. PEI is hardly a fertile feeding ground in the dead of winter, but that's when volunteers fan out to spot birds. The annual Christmas count keeps track of changing populations, part of a citizen science project. CTV's Maria Saru joined one team out for the count today.
He's here. This red-bellied woodpecker is a first for the birders keeping track in this part of PEI. Notepads ready and books out, spotting it was on their wish list.
We're hoping it'll be there today so that we can count it.
For more than 50 years, Diane Griffin and Kathy Martin have been scanning the skies, logging birds in the province's Hillsborough River region.
This one little area, we have 8 species. This is dark-eyed junco, DOWO is downy woodpecker, blue jays, black-capped chickadees.
They dedicate one day every December to helping scientists across the continent understand which species are here, how many of each, and why.
It gets you out of the house, away from the turkey.
Collecting decades of data means researchers can track long-term trends.
I remember the first time I ever saw a mourning dove. I think I was about 26 years old. Now mourning doves are everywhere. The climate is getting warmer and other species have disappeared.
Dozens of volunteers will cover the count in the province, with similar teams spread across the country.
It's very hard to do any kind of management or conservation if you don't know what the status is.
The Christmas bird count has been running since 1900, making it one of North America's longest and largest citizen science projects.
You just never know what you're going to find.
The numbers gathered here and across the island will be sent to Birds Canada, which then sends them to Audubon, a US-based organization working to stop and ultimately reverse the decline of birds across North America. Maria Saru, CTV News, Point Prim, Prince Edward Island.
That's a wrap on the day. For all of us here at CTV National News, thanks for watching. Good night. We'll see you tomorrow.